influenced by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's flow concept. And this concept, a lot of people know this concept. He didn't coin the phrase flow, of course, that word's been around for a long time, but he gave it kind of scientific criteria. He said, these are the things that you need to actually create this flow state. And we know what the flow state is, when everything else doesn't seem to matter, you're completely engaged in your activity, everything that comes in and out of that activity enhances that activity. We see it with children, we see it, people of all ages in sports, basketball, everything else. So I was fascinated with that, how he could actually explain how that can happen, even though you can't kind of just create the magic. So in this piece, in the trio, all three of the solo instruments combined to create finally chamber music. Right? We had three solos, we had a duo, and we have finally this point where chamber music happens and it's completely intertwined. The three instruments are being very soloistic, but yet at the same time there are certain passages, for example, where they actually never play together. The fifth movement is one continuous line passed through the three instruments, but actually it's creating three separate parts for each of them. So they don't play together, but they're completely dependent on each other. So I was looking at different ways of creating flow principles in the composition.
Well, the trio starts off with a viola solo, where I play almost entirely in harmonics, which is not something I normally do, but something that you don't see very often is he writes harmonics in forte and fortissimo with accents and sforzatos on them. And I don't think I've ever done that before, actually. So this is entirely new to me, and so I've had to experiment with how to make my harmonics sound ferocious, even though a harmonic has very little variation in dynamic. It's either sort of soft or a little bit louder than soft. So I've had to add a lot of body language to try to communicate ferocity without actually changing the dynamic that much.
Sometimes you have to practice making this scratchy tone, and these glissandi with the scratch and harmonics. I mean, we're trained for years to make this beautiful even tone, and I mean that's great too, but why not mix it up a little bit? And so I've had to think about what to do with my bow. How do I produce these sounds in a way that sounds intentional and like I know what I'm doing and it's not an accident.
Well, the rhythmic drive throughout really, I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun to put it all together today. Definitely. The end pretty much it rocks to this.
Yeah, there's a lot of rock.